I welcome you all in this video lecture. In this video lecture, I am going to cover the introduction to the design of lever. So first of all, consider the definition of lever. It is a mechanical device in the form of rigid bar pivoted about fulcrum to transfer or multiply force. So let us consider this is a rigid bar which we call it as a lever. It is pivoted about this fulcrum. So this is a fulcrum, and about this point this lever can oscillate. About this point this lever can oscillate. This is the point at which load is attached. So this is the load to be lifted, denoted by W. This is the point at which effort is applied, P, so that we can lift this load. Now, when to say that the lever is transferring the force? When the distance between this fulcrum and effort is equal to distance between load and fulcrum, then we can say that the distance of load and effort is same from the fulcrum. So then it is the transferring the force. Okay, that means the amount of or magnitude of effort required will be same as that of magnitude of load. But if the distance between this fulcrum and this effort is too large as compared to distance between load and fulcrum, then we can say that it is the multiplying force. That means the amount of or magnitude of effort required will be less as compared to magnitude of load. So with the help of less effort we can lift this load. So let us consider a few more terms related to this. So this is the distance between this fulcrum and this load. So this called as load arm, denoted by L2. Similarly, let us consider the distance between effort and fulcrum. So this is called as effort arm, denoted by L1. And these are the terms that we have considered in this diagram, that is WP, L1, L2. Okay. Now let us consider a few more terms related to this design of lever. We have to derive one simple equation here. So by taking the moment about this point, by considering the load W and effort P, so by taking the moment about fulcrum, that is about point O, we can get W into L2 is equal to P into L1. So let us write this: W into L2 is equal to P into L1. Rearrange the term like this: W upon P is equal to L1 upon L2. Now in this equation we have two ratios, W upon P and L1 upon L2. Now W upon P ratio is known as mechanical advantage, and L1 upon L2, this ratio is known as leverage ratio. Now remember a very important point related to this mechanical advantage and leverage ratio, that to use the lever in mechanical applications, mechanical advantage and leverage ratio must be greater than or equal to 1. That means to have the mechanical advantage and leverage ratio greater than 1, this L1 always has to be greater than L2. Okay, or at least it is equal to L2. So if L1 is equal to L2, or if L1 is greater than L2, then in such cases we can use this lever into mechanical applications. But in certain cases, when L1 is smaller, when L1 is smaller than L2, this ratio of mechanical advantage will be less than 1. In such cases we cannot use this lever into mechanical applications. Now consider the types of levers. So there are three types of levers: type 1 lever, type 2 lever and type 3 lever, and these types are depending on the relative position of fulcrum, load and effort. So let us consider the first type 1 lever, where the fulcrum is located between load and effort. This is the diagram which shows the fulcrum is in between load and effort. Now this equation that we have seen, W upon P is equal to L1 upon L2, is applicable to all the types of levers, and hence the ratios that we have taken out from this equation, that is mechanical advantage W upon P and a leverage ratio L1 upon L2, is same for all the types of levers. Now we have to consider the three cases in this type 1 lever, and that cases are related to relative size of L1 and L2. In first case L1 will be equal to L2, in second case L1 will be greater than L2, and in the third case this L1 will be smaller than L2. Now let us consider the first case, when the L1 is equal to L2. Now if the L1 is equal to L2, this ratio W upon P and L1 upon L2 will be equal to 1. That we have to write here, and which indicates that W upon P is the mechanical advantage, L1 upon L2 is the leverage ratio, which is equal to 1. And thus if the mechanical advantage is greater than or equal to 1, we can use this lever in mechanical applications, and the application of this kind of lever is the measurement of weight. Okay, Now consider the second case. Now in the second case, the L1 will be greater than L2. Now if L1 is greater than L2, that is L1 is greater than L2, this ratio W upon P and L1 upon L2 will be greater than 1. So let us write this. So W upon P is equal to L1 upon L2 will be greater than 1 because L1 is greater than L2. And this W upon P, we know that it is a mechanical advantage. L1 upon L2 is the leverage ratio, it is greater than 1. And we know that if the mechanical advantage is greater than or equal to 1, we can use such kind of lever into mechanical applications. And these are the applications of this lever used in hand pump, rocker arm of IC engine, and bell crank lever. Remember, you will come across one term, that is bell crank lever, and that term is related to the position of this load arm and effort arm. If the effort arm and load arm, if they are in one line, just like shown in this diagram, okay, then it is not a kind of bell crank lever. If the effort arm and load arm are not in one line and they are making some angle, okay, other than 180 degree. If effort arm and load are not in one line and they are making angle other than 180 degree, that kind of lever is called as a bell crank lever. And more specifically, if effort arm and load arm are perpendicular, this kind of lever is called as right angled bell crank lever. Okay. So let us look at each and every example in the different slides. So this is a example of bell crank lever. Right now I have explained that why it is called as bell crank lever, because this is a point at which load is attached. So this is a load arm, distance between load and fulcrum, this is a fulcrum, and distance between effort and fulcrum is called as load effort arm. So effort arm is greater as compared to load arm, and there is angle between this load arm and effort arm, okay, and this angle is other than 180 degrees. So this is the example of bell crank lever. And the application is hand pump. A hand pump is used to lift the water from ground. So effort is applied at this point and the load in terms of water is present at this point, okay. So by applying effort we are lifting the load. But if you know that if you understand that the amount of effort required to lift this load is very less, okay, if you compare the magnitude of load and if you compare the magnitude of effort, the magnitude of effort is very smaller as compared to magnitude of load, and it is because the effort arm is greater than this load arm, and thus it causes the less amount of effort required to lift this higher amount of load. This is the second example of application of this lever. It is the rocker arm of IC engine, and this rocker arm is used to operate the valve in the IC engine. Now this is a lever. This is the one end of lever which is attached to push rod. Push rod reciprocates with the help of cam and follower. When this push rod moves in upward direction, this point of end of lever will also move in the upward direction, and this other end moves in the downward direction because this lever is pivoted about this point, and about this point this lever oscillates, okay. So this is the application of this type 1 lever, where the fulcrum is in between this effort and this load and effort. So load is applied at this point, effort is applied at this point, load is transferred to this wall at this point, and this is the point at which this lever is pivoted up. This is the point about which this lever oscillates, and thus we can say that fulcrum is in between this load and effort. Thus this is the application of type 1 lever. Now consider the third application, Hartnell governor. So in this Hartnell governor, the bell crank lever is used, and we know that the bell crank lever is the such kind of lever in which this effort arm, so this is the effort arm and this is the load arm, and angle between this effort arm and load arm is a 90 degree, okay, and thus it is called as a right angled bell crank lever. Now let us consider the third case for type 1 lever, and in this case, in case 3, L1 is smaller than L2. If the L1 is smaller than L2, this ratio W upon P is equal to L1 upon L2 will be less than 1, that is mechanical advantage, leverage ratio less than 1, and we know that if the mechanical advantage is less than 1, we cannot use such kind of lever in mechanical applications, okay, not suitable for mechanical applications. Now consider type 2 lever. Now in the type 2 lever, the load W is in between fulcrum and effort. So this is the load W, it is in between fulcrum and effort, and this is the effort P applied, and this is the fulcrum. About this point this lever can oscillate, and this is the effort arm, this is the load arm. and this relation we have to use here, W upon P, L1 upon L2. This equation we have to use for all the types of lever, and these are the two ratios that already we have seen. Now from this picture we can see that easily L1 is greater than L2, effort arm is greater than load arm. So we have to write for type 2 lever L1 is always greater than L2, which results into the W upon P is equal to L1 upon L2 ratio is greater than 1, as L1 is greater. So here mechanical advantage and leverage ratio are greater than 1, and thus we can use this lever in mechanical application. And this is the application of this type 2 lever, a lever loaded safety valve. This is the actual picture of lever loaded safety valve. This is a straight lever. At one end it is pivoted, that means about this point this horizontal lever can oscillate. This is the point at which valve is connected with the help of this valve spindle or strut. This is the point at which we have attached the deadweight, and this is the valve body, this is the valve seat, and this is the valve, and this valve assembly is connected to the boiler. And this function of lever loaded safety valve is to maintain the pressure inside the boiler within the desired limit. Now when the pressure inside the boiler is within the desired limit, this valve remains closed. Okay, but once the pressure inside the boiler increases beyond the desired limit, the force acting on this valve will increase beyond a certain limit, so that this upward force acting on valve, it will overcome the downward direction weight, and thus this valve will get open as the magnitude of force acting on valve is more because of the excessive steam pressure. Because of the excessive steam pressure, this valve will get open, the excess steam will come out from this boiler, and as the excess steam is come out from this boiler, the steam pressure decreases. As the steam pressure decreases, the corresponding force acting on this valve will decrease, and this valve will again come into the downward direction under the weight of weight attached at this end. Okay, so this is the simple working of this lever loaded safety valve. Why it is called as lever loaded safety valve? Because it ensures the safety of boiler by maintaining the pressure within the desired limit. Now just we will correlate this with our regular representation of this lever for this type 2 lever. Now this is a fulcrum, and here in this picture we can show this fulcrum is here, and this is the point of pivot, and here in this picture it is this point of pivot. Now second, load W. So load W is acting at this point, and it is because of the purely because of the steam pressure. So this is the load acting on valve W, it is because of the steam pressure. And last is effort P, which is applied at this end of lever with the help of this deadweight. So this downward direction effort is applied with the help of deadweight, which keeps the valve closed. Okay, and it keeps this valve closed till the pressure inside the boiler is within the desired limit. And once the pressure increases beyond desired limit, the load acting on this valve also increases beyond desired limit, and which causes the upward motion of this valve along with this lever, and this lever will oscillate like this, and in this position the valve is open, steam will go out. Once the steam is escaped from the boiler, pressure drops down, and further the valve will come in downward its original position under the load applied at the end. So this is the principal working of this lever loaded safety valve. Now the last is type 3 lever. In the type 3 lever, effort P is in between fulcrum and load. So this is the fulcrum, this is the load, and this is the effort P, which is in between this fulcrum and load. Now in this case, the effort arm is smaller as compared to load arm, and thus we can say that for type 3 lever, L1 is less than L2, which causes this ratio W upon P is equal to L1 upon L2 less than 1, because L1 is smaller, numerator is smaller, so this ratio has to be less than 1. This W upon P, L1 upon L2 are nothing but the mechanical advantage, leverage ratio, and both are less than equal to 1, less than 1. And as mechanical advantage is less than 1, this type of lever is not suitable for mechanical applications. So this is about the application. This is about the introduction to the lever and with its types of levers. So thanks for watching this video. If you have any doubt related to this, you can mention in comment section.